Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. It's about 6 o'clock, still September 23rd, still Monday, 62 degrees. And let's play with some buttons while we're here.
That was easy.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
Oh yeah.
Fuck you!
Parental guidance. Here we are. I decided to go with plywood. I was looking at the countertop off in the back there. Can you see that gray thing leaning up against the wall? It's got a bunch of round angles and so forth. And I really didn't have 86 inches, 18 wide for a nice clean piece. I did have this piece of plywood that's been kind of floating around. So you can see it's kind of bowed here and here. So I put the tank and the rest of this junk on here to try to settle it down. But you're beginning to see how the bench is coming together. There we are, in the bottom. I'm not quite sure what's going in that area yet. I kind of like the step stool there, especially considering there's going to be another shelf. As a matter of fact, there's the plywood for it. It's already cut. It's 13 inches. It's going to be about this high. As a matter of fact, I can do this without killing myself or breaking anything important. It's going to be a little higher than that. I mean, I could get my head under that, but you know, there are people who are taller than I am who may not be able to get their head under that. Let's see. Do I have a piece of wood about long enough? All these look like they're going to be short, but what the heck. Let me see if I can prop it up for you, so you can get a half an idea what it's going to look like. Oh, look at that. If I was a little skinnier, I'd squeeze by these things better. But anyway, I mean, that kind of gives you an idea. I don't know, could I back up enough if you guys get the whole view? See the bottom, you could see the two shelves, and then you can't really see the top shelf all that well. I mean, if I zoom in, there's a little more light. So, once again, the reason to put another couple of shelves up here, one here, and then maybe on top, this is 13 inches. Maybe the next one up is only going to be 10 inches, maybe only a piece of pine. I want to set up brackets off the wall. I'm going to have to do some welding to get them the way I want them. And that being the case, then on top, one could put things that one doesn't need to look at every day, but keep them handy enough such that I can just take the stool out and once again easily access them. Believe it or not, I'd really love to put that saw, the chop saw, maybe a circular saw, you know, a few things up there. The chop saw isn't too heavy, the rigid one there. This guy is kind of heavy, but once again, you guys could get the idea. Then in this small area, right, these three pieces, this, and that, is pretty nearly 4 by 8. It's 4 by 7. And if you lie a piece of 4 by 8 plywood on the floor, I mean, one takes up a lot of room. especially when you consider underneath it, you add to it, and if there's a shelf above it. I'm approaching 2 4x8 sheets of plywood worth of area that I've filled up between putting crap on top of tractors and bikes and all these other things. So getting it all cleared up and stacked up neatly over there in one place, and particularly paying particular attention, careful attention to stuff that I have to get my hot little hands on regularly. I think it'll be a good thing. Anyway, you may hear it in my voice. I'm tired. I was tired before I started cutting up the plywood. Now I'm really tired, so I'm going to head on in, relax. But you can see it's coming together. My eBay file of parts all here, nice and organized, right, so I can find everything I need. So I got parts here. I'm creating a work area over there, rolling bench or rolling toolbox. This table's going to go. This is moving outside. I should put some steel mesh or something down there, but this is moving. This is leaving. This isn't going to live here anymore. I mean, the concept was cool, but it's rock and rolly, and by the time I set the heights I wanted, it's too high to work on, so it didn't work out. This table, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it. If I put a piece of metal on top, get rid of this wood. If I put a piece of metal on top, it's a relatively sturdy, stable table. It might make a good welding table. Put the flux core on one side and the MIG, the metal inert gas, and the tank, which is floating around here somewhere, on the other side. Then I got a nice stable welding table to use. You know, cut this thing back here and there, cut that off. So this might continue to exist. That's leaving, and that I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with that table. That's a very strong table also. Make a great welding table, but it's a little bit long for that. So unless it tucks in someplace, I don't picture that happening. I got these wire mesh shelves. I do need to spend a little bit of time measuring over the garage doors, but those wire mesh guys, they wouldn't be bad for, you know, like the area in between the doors. I got too much light coming in elsewhere. There you go. Let's block that out. So, I'm even thinking of trying to do a little something else with this mess here. For the time being, I'm going to leave it, the clock, the meter, the light, and all that, but I would like to improve on this also. I didn't do a measurement, but I might be able to take this, leave this one like this, and then turn this one, or vice versa, which would help this area a little bit more too. Alright, well, enough babbling. You guys can see the concept, you can see where it's going, you can see the progress, and for anybody who's trying to put one of these together, I mean, cheap. This is bed rail. I used, I don't know, probably 2.5, 3 beds worth of bed rail to put this thing together, all told. You know, a little bit of welding. This is one sheet of plywood, this, that, and this little piece underneath here, that's one sheet of plywood. So from a financial point of view, you're really looking at nothing. From a time point of view, it takes a little time to cut the metal up, to get all the rivets out from where, you know, the things slide. You end up with a whole pile of assorted metal from that. That takes that takes a little bit of time. And then obviously you got to pay attention to make sure that you get your right angles right. Or I did some butt welds here to keep these things from wandering. I just used the long piece of angle iron underneath it and placed both pieces on it and clamped it and then slid them together so that this butt area was supported on both sides by a long piece of metal, and then just butt welded it together, and it seemed to come out nice and straight doing that. So that's how I did those. This thing here, to get it straight up and down perpendicular, I clamped it on, got it to where I wanted it, tacked it, made sure it was where I wanted it, tapped it, adjusted a little bit, finished welding it on. It could probably use a little more weld, but it's sturdy. This thing is bolted all along the back, and both rails are bolted all along the back, so I can stand on it. If I start jumping up and down right here, right in the center, I'm going to get some deflection. I might even bend the metal. I really don't plan on going too crazy with this, but I can always tie these two together, and that would make this quite a lot stronger. Alright folks, live, love, have a great day. Remember, tires down, handlebars up. We'll catch you on the next episode of The Horde, which will be tomorrow. Hopefully I could stop playing with building workbenches and get back to building something more enjoyable, finish up a couple of these bikes, and I really do want to put together a UTV, utility, basically a utility vehicle. I mean, similar to that and that, but something a little more interesting. I have all the components. I have motorcycles and three-wheelers and four-wheelers, but it'd almost be interesting, given I have all the golf carts, to put one together with a single back wheel, a single powered back wheel. And if I do that, I have mosquitoes bothering me, I'm not going crazy. If I do that and put some real power to that back wheel, like one of these 200S motors, that could be a lot of fun. Imagine being able to spin up that back wheel, have it slide and all, and then have the wide track of the front end of a golf cart. I mean, it strikes me as if it would be the greatest donut vehicle in the world. You put a ball tire on the back there, and then just go flying into a turn and cut the wheel and, downshift and wind it up. I imagine she'd break loose and spin up nicely. So, I mean, that's one thing. But, it's nice to have all these concepts in mind, but you got to have some place to work on it. Especially, we're working our way toward fall and winter. As a matter of fact, we're like in the first day of fall. But in this area, I'm a couple of months away, 60 days or so, from possibility of snow. In 90 days, Christmas time, typically we have our first snow by Christmas in this area. So it'd be nice to be able to come up here, open the door, let some sun in, let some light in. In the winter, the sun's lower on the horizon, and the sun just floods right in this door. I mean, it's great. I could even theoretically get, solar screen, like greenhouse plastic, and cover this door up so that when I open the door, the sun blasts right in. That, believe it or not, that put a lot of warmth right in the place. Of course, it'd probably only take me 10 minutes to move that crowbar and put a hole in the plastic, but that's just me. Alright folks, once again, live, love, have a great time. We'll catch you on the next episode of The Horde. Till then, tires down, handlebars up, and build yourself a workbench. It's always fun. Thanks for watching.